Hey there guys, it's going to be another little best versus budget video, and this time it's going to be on Igniter Sorc. The big debate. A lot of people don't think Adrenaline is very good on Sorc. I mean, it is good. It's just requires a little bit more kind of thought when playing Sorc. You don't have to necessarily keep all the stacks up at all the time. You just have to make sure you have 6 stacks going into Igniter, which isn't hard to do. If you have 0 stacks with a full bar and your skills are on cooldown, or off cooldown rather, you can build up 6 stacks pretty easily before casting Doomsday. This is how you do it. You can cast Arcane Torrent, and then spacebar to cancel it, so that's 1 stack. Then you can throw out your counter, obviously. You can throw out 1 Blaze, Esoteric Reaction. Then you can Blaze again, Doomsday, Frost Call. You see? Not hard to get 6 Adrenaline stacks before. And you can change it up depending on what skills you have on cooldown if you don't want to use your spacebar. Stuff like that. Like if I don't want to use my spacebar, I can use up both Blazes. I used up both Blazes last time instead of just casting Doomsday, and I used Esoteric. But there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. The point is, even if you have 0 stacks, it's not hard to get 6 stacks for Adrenaline. And you only really need Adrenaline to be fully stacked when you are about to do the thing with the big meteors twice. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's get into the build. This is one of the standard meta builds for Igniter. The other meta build for Nightmare Set Igniter would be no Adrenaline, but instead Cursed All. That's an option too. Adrenaline is higher efficiency than Cursed All, though. It gives more damage overall because it gives both attack power and crit rate. Crit rate, which you are heavily lacking on Sorc. So let's test this. Let me proc my Nightmare Set. Not that it really matters. I'm just going to be comparing the burst windows of each spec that I do. I think I'll probably do 2 tests max, maybe. We'll see. Anyways, I'm going to be doing the same thing for each. I am going to be starting the Adrenaline fully pre-stacked, however, because you're always going to be fully stacked. So let's see what we do here. And I'm going to be doing the same thing every single time. No deviation in the rotation. The same thing every time. I know I'm not being maximum efficiency here, but that's okay. Okay. So test 1. 178 mil, 59% CR. Let's do another testeroo. Okay. The exact same thing. No deviation. Actually, that is a lie. I have to stop because I went into boundless. Oh, I probably should have done this without Nightmare Set. Oh well. It'll just take a second. I need to remember to hit recover resources before I go in. One more. Reset. Okay. Yes. Okay. That's a lot of buttons I have to remember to hit, but we're good. Okay. This time, test 2 for real. And I'm doing the rotation exactly the same this time, which is what we need. Okay. So we have 169 mil, 54% crit. So with the standard meta build, running Adrenaline rather than Cursed All or Precise Dagger, this is what we got. So I'm going to swap over to the budget build now, which is obviously Adrenaline being dropped, and we're taking Precise Dagger, and we're going to see just how much worse Precise Dagger is. Again, it's going to be kind of hard to quantify because it heavily matters what crits versus what doesn't, which is why Trixie on tests are not the most ideal. But in any case, we will see how this fares. We don't have to stack Adrenaline because we don't have it anymore. The whole idea behind this, though, is this should be more consistent because we have a bit higher crit. Okay, so that's 158 mil, 59% CR. And then we'll do one more. Our Explosion and Punishing Strike didn't crit there, but our Doomsday did. It's good to keep that in mind. And then that Doomsday didn't crit. So you can see the variance in what crits versus what doesn't. Because 96 mil, 56% crit rate. So Sorc heavily relies on what crits and what doesn't. So you can definitely make arguments that Precise Dagger, because it gives you a bit more crit rate, makes it a bit more consistent. But ultimately, the bigger impact is going to be having crit synergy in your raid or party. And obviously getting a bracelet that has crit on it is pretty good. I don't have one, obviously. But we can do one more just to see if I can get like a better run. Because I do feel a little bit bad for Precise Dagger. Because the damage will be lower, but it won't be by like a significant amount, as you can see by the first test. Looks like we got some better crits this time around. Yeah, we got 152 again. 152 mil, 59% crit. So you can see the damage potential is definitely higher with Adrenaline. That is not a surprise. The trade-off is you have less crit with Adrenaline by yourself than you do. When you get Bracelet crit and you get things like synergies going, Adrenaline becomes much better in direct comparison with Precise Dagger, because Precise Dagger just gives you a flat 20 crit, and it reduces your damage by 12%, which is... eh. It is definitely a pretty big thing. Because losing 12% crit damage is like... I mean, that's a lot of damage. Obviously, it's not too bad, but you get the idea. Adrenaline, no penalty. Precise Dagger has penalty. You can see why one is better than the other. One is just a little bit easier to use, and one is a little bit harder to use. One is also a lot more expensive, and the other is a lot cheaper. Ultimately, it is up to you to make your decision. But Precise Dagger, I think, is a fair alternative. I think a lot of people run Precise Dagger just because it's cheaper. But you can see just now how exactly the numbers kind of stack up. 178 mil, 169 mil with Adrenaline, and then 158, 96. That was a bad crit. And then 152. So, I mean, it's comparable for sure, but it's definitely a good bit of damage that you're going to be missing. Ultimately, up to you. As always, like the video if you like the video, dislike it if you dislike it, and always leave a comment down below if you have anything to say. And of course, subscribe if you made it this far and you haven't already. No goal for the rest of the year, but we're trying for 850 just to see. Why not? Let's go for it. See you guys all in the next one. Bye.